When you combine film, music, worldwide critical acclaim, and a record-breaking commercial performance, you get the soundtrack of a Disney musical. Over the last 100 years, this massive company has created some of the most well-known songs, well, ever. When we're talking about A Whole New World from Aladdin, Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King, Toy Story's You Got a Friend in Me, Let It Go from Frozen, and so many more, I would be genuinely shocked if you weren't familiar with these tracks. They're the definition of iconic. And with just about everyone knowing these, I think they might be hogging the spotlight a little bit. When non-Disney fanatics think about Disney music, the songs I mentioned come to mind very easily, and then everything else might be a blur. This is such a shame because the Disney music catalog is enormous and it's filled with some very high quality stuff. So today we're gonna go over the hidden gems of this subcategory. I'll be listing off Disney songs that I think are underrated in one way or another, explaining why I like them, playing a snippet, and moving on. Don't get caught up with my criteria because it's not very specific at all. Some of these might be pretty well known, some won't be. I'm literally just going off of what is good, but not one of the biggest, most talked about tracks in their history. Let's begin with the legendary Phil Collins and his contributions to this world. Phil was a critical piece behind the soundtracks of Tarzan and Brother Bear, and that is just kind of crazy to me. One of the biggest, most influential singer, songwriter, instrumentalists ever has a bunch of Disney songs, and they absolutely rip. I think Phil's signature sound is rather paradoxical, and I mean that in the best way possible. It's somehow casual, yet technically impressive. It has the cheesy 80s vibe, but it also feels suave and intelligent. His energy is slightly dull and ordinary, but the melodies are rich and inviting. In my opinion, this translates to the screen really well. Animation is a medium that should be able to speak for itself. Everything is so dynamic and fearless, so while it might seem backwards, those paradoxical Phil Collins emotions act as a very intriguing complement to what's going on visually. It's a unique, rare concept for Disney, but it's fascinating to have songs that are down to earth and sophisticated when the stories are so fantastical. It's like a weird example of opposites attracting. You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan is the big hit here. We've got these alluring strings, the songwriting is touching, and it is a joy to hear the song keep building upon itself during its runtime. This was a big winner during award season, and it's easy to see why. And then On My Way from Brother Bear should be one of the most celebrated Disney songs ever, no question about it. It's shimmering, glistening fun, and it will fill you with daydreams of adventure. To go in the complete opposite direction, we've got the second best song from Aladdin that is better than the best song in countless Disney musicals, Prince Ali. This track is absolutely crazy. It's one of the more bombastic, entertaining selections from the entire archive, and it's because of the distinct, one-of-a-kind enthusiasm of Robin Williams. While under 3 minutes in length, we still get countless different voices from one of the best impressionists to ever live. It's got an upbeat tempo, and by the end of the track, everything is so chaotic and maximalist. Once Aladdin finally makes his way into the palace, the song has erupted into a theatrical frenzy. Musically and visually, it's pandemonium, and there is something wrong with you if you aren't fully committed to the madness. While Hercules might be a B-tier Disney classic, Zero to Hero is one of my favorite songs from the catalog. The Muses, voiced by Lillias White, Vanice Thomas, Cheryl Freeman, LaChance, and Roz Ryan, deliver this fast-paced gospel anthem, and I can't get enough of it. With 5 women singing on this track, it obviously gives opportunities for great harmonies, but what really stands out to me is the showcase of different personalities at play. Each muse has their own quirks, which is fun for the story, but musically we're able to hear drastically different vocal registers and tones going back and forth with each other. It's a charismatic song that will make you laugh and keep you on your toes. What a way to make exposition so engaging and lively. Out There from The Hunchback of Notre Dame is an absurd song to have within a Disney musical. Technically, musically speaking, I'd say it's the most complex thing that we'll talk about today. We've got the exquisite, very dramatic upper register tenor of Tom Hulce, there are counter melodies and several key changes. There's a popular term called the I Want song, and it's basically the part in a musical where the protagonist is singing about how they aren't happy with their current life and they want so much more. Examples could be Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid, Mermaid, Just Around the River Bend from Pocahontas, I Just Can't Wait to Be King from The Lion King, and the list goes on. I think Out There might be the best Disney I Want song ever. This dude is belting in this warbly, inspirational manner, and it's a situation where I just sit there in awe.
Won't resent, won't despair,
Written by the great Randy Newman and performed by Anika Noni Rose, Almost There is a special example of the I Want song. Within Disney's discography, most I Want songs are based on dreams, wishes, and generally vague aspirations. Almost There, however, follows the themes set by its hard-working, goal-driven protagonist by not saying I want, but I will. Within the grand scheme of things, it's refreshing to hear real explanations of why the character's dream hasn't come to fruition. Then we don't just get her hoping for a miracle, it's Tiana singing that with perseverance, her day will come. New Orleans is a vibrant, eccentric city with a deeply rooted history in music. With a 1920s jazz vibe mixed with Randy Newman's classic whimsy, we get a warm, comforting track that deserves more recognition.
Ain't nothing gonna stop me now, 'cause I'm almost there.
Love from Robin Hood is a perfect love song, performed by Nancy Adams, who sang commercial jingles and was actually married to one of the songwriters. This is something that feels timeless. It's the kind of soft, simple, poetic tune that could have been made 100 years ago, and it will still be relevant 100 years later. There's this beautiful, classy mixture of orchestra and guitar, and with lyrics like "Life is brief, but when it's gone, love goes on and on," that's the kind of powerful existential message that Disney movies are all about.
Love goes on and on.
I talked about how shocking it is when I remember that Phil Collins made 2 Disney soundtracks, but how about another legendary singer, songwriter, instrumentalist from that generation, Billy Joel, actually starring in a Disney movie? Oliver and Company is fine, but the standout moment is Billy singing "Why Should I Worry?", an ode to being street smart and living in New York City. Stuff that he's pretty familiar with. And just like Phil, Billy brings his singular sound to this movie. It's super catchy soft rock, accessible, fun to sing along to, and I don't know if there's a better musician for a track that's rambling on about everyday life. A fun fact about me is that I'm a big fan of the Muppets, and Life's a Happy Song is something that is guaranteed to put a smile on my face every time I listen to it. Man or Muppet from the same movie won the Oscar for Best Original Song that year, but if it were up to me, it would have been this one instead. So many cute, funny jokes, the harmonies are super charming, and I love it so much.
I've got everything that I need.
And the last track I've got on my list from one of my absolute favorites is Moana's Shiny. How Far I'll Go is the big one here, and it deserves all of its success, but when you look beyond that gorgeous, anthemic I Want song, you find this bizarre, nightmarish glam rock performed by Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords. This monstrous coconut crab is taunting the main characters with a psychedelic-inspired tune, and it's legitimately disturbing. I love moments like these where Disney doesn't really hold back. Clement delivers a great performance as he goes back and forth between bragging about how glamorous he is, and then ridiculing the two heroes with their biggest insecurities.
I'm too shiny, watch me dazzle like a diamond in the rough.
Listen, there are a ton more songs that I could have brought up. New or old, soundtracks of Disney classics, or films that have mostly been forgotten. I've just wanted to discuss this topic for a while now, and I thought this would be a fun way to remind everyone that looking past those #1 hits, there's some really high quality stuff in there. Comment down below with your favorite hidden gems of Disney music, and thanks for watching. Thank you for watching that video. If you want to support the channel, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media at RenshawHS. You can buy my merch on OutLoudMerch.com/collections/alpha-media. You can support me on Patreon. And thanks again. I'll see you soon.